Harinder Oberoi, sir needs no introduction, certainly. He is a food technologist himself, a PhD in microbiology with food tech, and a postdoc in bioprocessing from the Kansas State University, specializing in grain science and industry. Sir has a vast experience across R&D, quality, uh, in industries such as Ranbaxy, UB, Hindustan Unilever, and then joined the ICAR, where he served in various posts, including as heading the post-harvest technology and agricultural engineering unit at IIHR Bangalore. Most of us know him best from his tenure at FSSAI, both as advisor quality assurance and then as advisor science and standards, where he has been most receptive to many of the requests for deliberation. He supported an event called Smart Foods last year, which was co-organized by FST and Chamber at the ITCF-SAN, where we had a one-of-a-kind deliberation of shadow panels with scientific panel members. So sir is at the forefront of listening and guiding, and currently in his role as director for the NIFTEM Kundli since August last year, August 23. He has, I think, clearly shown us that science can lead the way in ensuring both sufficiency and quality of food and economic empowerment of the farmers and the small and medium food industry. So we look forward to your thoughts today as we set out this slightly complicated task of trying to review a guidance document which is an input to numerous policy-making decisions and trying to give our feedback on that. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Shubha, for this opportunity. I'm indebted to the Center for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses. Shubha had been my very dear colleague in FSSAI, working with ITCF-SAN, and all the stalwarts of KASEM, Prabodh ji, Nilesh ji, Umesh ji, and Dr. Smita Lele and all others who join in here. Well, a very good afternoon, and all. I would like to welcome all the participants. I think this is the most apt topic that has been selected by the Chamber for discussion. And I've been a staunch believer, like when Shubha talked about my tenure at FSSAI, I always believed in having large stakeholder consultations. And even if a guidance document comes out, there should be deliberation and discussions about that. I'm sure ICMR would have taken into account all those nutritional guidelines and processing levels before coming out with this guidance note. I strongly feel that, because I haven't, to be very honest to all of you, my apologies, and do pardon me for that. I haven't really gone through the intricacies of these guidelines. I've just had a glance, and the glance also, it was just like a sort of a flash that I just went through. So I'm not really well versed with the actual the sense which these guidelines have been framed up and how does it really affect the industry. One thing that I know is that the guidance note has tried to bring in a balance between the consumption of grains, fruits and vegetables, milk, and has come out with a balanced diet approach. That I feel is the best approach for any country. But we also have to look at the demography that this country has. And that is the reason why the fortified rice scheme took birth, and that was made mandatory by the Honorable Prime Minister of the country. And FSSAI also came out with the fortification of milk and oil, though that is voluntary. Because we also need to reach out to the poorest of the poor. If you look at the strata that we have in the country, not everybody can afford to have a balanced diet. If you ask me that I have to have this much of grain, this much of fruit, vegetable, this much of milk, and if I'm a non-vegetarian, this much of meat, I may afford that, but not everybody can do that. And secondly, if you go to the tribal areas or to the far-flung areas, there are certain commodities which are not even available. So that is the reason why this fortification aspect also took birth. Now, having said this, we also need to know that there are a lot of myths about processing, which I would like to clear here. We also need to come out with definitions of processing. Maybe Most of us are not even aware of what primary processing is, what secondary processing is, what tertiary processing is, and what quaternary processing is. And what is this ultra high processing? Or what is ultra processing? But there's a very thin line difference between ultra processing and processing. If you look at, I mean, there is no clear cut definition, but if you have to frame that, I think it's time that the AFSTI and all the food technologies in the country come together and define these terms first, and then put on the websites of different institutes, ministries, as departments, as well as associations, and bring more consumer awareness as that whatever we eat is not bad for health. We don't eat paddy, we eat rice. We don't eat wheat, we eat flour. We don't drink milk right from the cow's udder. We process it, pasteurize it. And there are certain benefits of processing too, which have to be brought out. Like if we don't process soybean, we don't get over the anti-nutritional components. The reason for processing millets is very, very clear, to ensure that anti-nutritional compounds are all degraded. Lycopene bioavailability increases with the processing in tomatoes. So there's so many other benefits. Yes, there are some harmful effects also of processing. Like whenever we have this high fat, sugar, and salt, they definitely harm us more than anything else, because we normally don't consume such things for as a matter of routine. For children especially, they could lead to a lot of problems, a lot of diseases, and of course, I think if you look at the problem that we're facing because of eating food which is not so healthy is quite high these days, and the disease load also has increased because of that. But then I think it's our duty as an academician and a researcher, and also having played a big role in FSSAI. I keep telling FSSAI and the Eat Right campaign, we should also promote that one should eat in moderation. And that is one reason why when we came out with this draft notification on front of pack nutrition labeling, that was just to make the consumer more aware. So, of course, that is still under discussion at FSSAI. But then these things are actually brought out to create awareness among the consumers. And it's very important that the good effects or the benefits of processing also are told to the consumers. And a myth should be busted that not that everything which is processed is bad. If we process, and also, I think since we have nutritionists here, I would request them to again create awareness about whenever we are fortifying foods with iron, what are the things which you should be taking with alongside, and which are the things which you should not, which you should be avoiding. Suppose, if I'm eating rice which is fortified with iron, at the same time I'm having a cup of tea alongside, which has a lot of polyphenolics. So it will rather inhibit the availability of iron. Similarly, if somebody tells me to have more of vitamin C along with iron, it will definitely help in absorption of iron. Same goes well with the calcium and vitamin D. So I think the awareness that is there in this country is lacking, not only in the segment which is not able to afford healthy foods or expensive food, but even the best of the people, in the sense, even in the urban population, the peri-urban population. So if we start coming, I mean, a lot of FAQs are needed, frequently asked questions and solutions, and these FAQs we should in fact have a book. I would request if CSMB along with AFSTI, you can count on NIFTEM Kundli for that. We come out with a handbook which talks about different processing levels, talks about the benefits of processing, talks about the ill effects of ultra processing, and also about the reasons why the country has gone for fortification, its effect, its importance, and what we should be consuming when we're taking fortificants, and so that to bring in more clarity for everyone across, and maybe more articles put on social media, which can have a bigger impact. So let's make the social media also understand, like one is the public, the press, of course, is very important, but this social media also is playing a very pivotal role. I think awareness, consumer information is very important. But I would request all of you who are present here to kindly go through these guidelines and give a very honest opinion from scientific perspective. If somebody says that, I'm doing For example, this is what I told while I was at FSSAI. Like there is a juice which is processed through high pressure processing, where no sugar is added. It's simple pomegranate juice, for example. And then there's a juice where sugars are being added. So we can't categorize both of them in, no, you can't have, the same criteria for both the juices. Both are fruit juices, but they've been processed in different ways. So there, I think this is what needs to be done, like for all the commodities that we talk about. So look at the guidelines and look at them in a very holistic way. And if there are comments, let's not shy away from giving our comments. Sometimes so happens that, the left hand doesn't know what the right is doing. And, we just can't clap with single hand. So we need both the hands. And let there be a larger stakeholder consultation before these guidelines. I don't know, it's just a guidance document. Tomorrow, once it becomes a regulatory guideline, for example, then I think it's better that such conferences, such webinars which are being organized by, I must congratulate Shubha, your team for organizing this, the entire CSMB, to bring out these facts right on the board and send the recommendations to even my ministry, to FSSAI, that too with a scientific perspective and also citing the research which has taken place. So I'd again say that we can't have common standards for everyone, and India is a very diverse country. We have to look into interest of all the stakeholders, all the consumers, and then if you feel that there are because I've seen that certain notifications which are approved by FSSAI were again sent back for review for the simple reason because the stakeholder consultation was not done in a way it had to be done. So similarly, I think when it's a guidance document, let's all go through it properly and give our views and write to ICMR-NIN if you feel that there are discrepancies, and maybe ICMR also can organize a large stakeholder consultation to understand each thing, because they have institutes which deal with nutrition, but they may not have institutes which deal with processing. So we have institutes like NIFTEM and the CFTRIs which deal with food processing. So we can be onboarded for such discussions. The AFSTA can be onboarded, and the other organizations, our ministry can be onboarded. And of course, people from industry, MSME, and the consumers also. Consumer groups also should be there as a part of these discussions, because that's very important. They're the ones who carry forward the message of the consumers they bring everything to the fore, the consumer's perspective to the fore. So it's important to have, once you bring out these and have more webinars, bring the facts threadbare, and then let's have discussions on that, and let's have a larger stakeholder consultation and come out with very clear recommendations. So that's it from me. Thank you very much again for the invite. I hope, because I'm one person who doesn't keep his notes, who speaks from the heart. So I hope I haven't spoken anything which goes against the spirit of the guidance document, the guidelines. I have just given my independent thoughts. And thank you very much. I wish you best for this webinar. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of deliberation, discussion. And please share the bullet point recommendations, the deliverables when you come out with. And I would again request that let's have more webinars of this kind involving more stakeholders, and then put our point forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. मेरे 2 पेज भर गए on to-do lists. Your very short speech, but you've inspired us and feeded us with so many ideas that we can take forward. Kele ma'am, would you like to add something before we let?
I will add it at the end because you have given me 10
Right.
minutes. I have jotted down some points sir had said.
Thank you, sir. I think, yes, sure, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. I think we will work on as many of these points as possible, and the handbook to make it easy to understand, the creation of FAQs. These are brilliant ideas. I think there is a strong need for it, and we look forward to your support and guidance as we try to achieve that. Thank you very much, sir, as always, for your time and for your guidance. We'll keep you posted on what deliberations come out of today. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.